Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Pauline Baird, a cultural bearer from the village of a-Bux'n, Guyana. I like to tell stories about my village. I tell family histories, whispered stories, or hidden, practiced, and long-held traditions. Today I want to talk to you about day 2 of a returnee's visit to the village. I returned to the village some 3 or 4 years ago, I think 3 years ago, to visit and to do research. So day 2 took me to the cemetery. Now, because I'd been away a long time, people died over the years. So my elders were all gone, at least most of them, and I decided to go to the burial ground, or what we call the Burin Ground. Burin Ground is where the dead is found. In our village, they get a saying, strange and no burying ground. But I am here to say that even a-Bux'n people like me ain't no burying ground. So let me talk the story. Me now went a burying ground for visit my grandmother, my great aunt, my great uncle, and so. Before bored white wife wake, me go to Friendship burying ground. When me go by, when me think me left my grandmother them, I see a couple dog, must about 3 dog. And the dog they look happy, so me was happy too. Me so alright, so I walk up and I tell the dog them morning. I ain't tell people that me talk to the dog. Me tell morning to the dog then. One dog jump off the tomb and start walk towards the kumaka tree where my grandmother they bury. But when I follow the dog suddenly stopped because one tomb there right across the pathway. Me just suck my teeth. Who put tomb across the pathway? When me been a girl, you could have walked in Burin Ground because they had pathway. Now then got tomb across the pathway. You can't see no way for getting at this graveyard. So me come out back. Me start survey the scene from the road. Me looking at the dog them, forgive me, I cue the dog them go up on one high 2-story tomb and lay out. Very pleased with themselves. So them ain't giving me no hint. So I look at another place, I see I'm going to put up with another tomb. So I said this ain't gonna work. But I got to get over there to find my grandmother. So I said, let me go and ask at the church man's if somebody can help me. So I'm walking towards the church man, and then I remember like in one village by me now named Convict, that is false name. Them say convict does work at the church man's now. Well, I look a story, only a-Bux'n you just get church man's and convict just come in the same sentence. So I walk up by the church man's, me start for holler, convict, convict, in a answer. But I see a girl coming and the girl say, you know must wake up yet. Well, me turn old people and she. Me and she was walking and me start for question. She like how old people used to question me when I was a child. Me say, girl, is who you? Who is your mother? And she tell me, she mother named Joycelyn. Well, me know Joycelyn. I used to call she tip top Joycelyn. So we walking and we going. I go to my cousin's house just up the street. And I call he. Mr. Wills, Mr. Wills. He said, man, you know you do. Mr. Man, me come for look for my grandmother and my uncle Canto and my aunt Ivy. And them and me can't find them. He said, what you mean you can't find them? He said, go back at the Burin Ground. You see, under the kumaka tree, I ride them, I left them. You go find them there. And you see when you go there, they get the clay brick one. That is where your uncle Canto, then your uncle Wadi and all of them there. Your grandmother, your uncle Oman, all of them there. And he say across from there you get your cousin Langkunchan. And over there you get your cousin Monty, where they used to call him fancy lady because he the gay and he was the spice of the village, my best cousin. Me say, hey, now me get incentive to go a village burying ground because my cousin then in there. Me go back at the burying ground. And I look and I see the tomb. I take my camera with the long lens and I zoom in. And when I zoom in, sir, I see the tomb. I say, hey, but how am I going to get from here to there? Because it's Burin Ground, get water, rainfall. And I feel like the ground compromised. Me don't want to fall in Burin Ground hole. So I look down and there I see a blue tomb, freshly painted. Either it's a newly become ancestor or a family nice up a crib. So I look down in here, Mr. Darcet. So I say, morning, Mr. Darcet. I beg your pardon. I need to go and visit my grandmother over so. She named Aunt Barbara. And my great aunt Ivy. They used to call she man Ivy. I'm going over to see them. You beg your pardon. I'm going to climb for your tomb. I don't know if Mr. Darcy answer or not, but I take it as consent. And I get up on the tomb, I walk at the edge gingerly, and I go as far as I could go. I take a picture of the tomb. I say, hey, that's nice. Then I left the graveyard and I go across the village at the other burying ground with the next big Kumaka tree. This time I'm looking for my father and the twin sister and the other sisters. I said, for me sure now, I know what I did because my father recently passed. So I went in the burying ground, but surprise, when I reach the burying ground gate and I look at the burying ground main road, the burying ground main road narrower than I remember. So now you got a whole lot of people dead and take over this road, it encroach into the road. I say, I look a story. Look how them people is dead out to take over the road. I went as far as I could, but I think my father did. And I can't find my father even. I start to talk to myself a look a story. So I holler out, Body Bed, Sissy Bed, Auntie Sybil, me come, I come for look at you, and I talking to them. Then I start to laugh because I can imagine that if these people could have talked what the conversation they would have been having. I imagine my Auntie Sissy saying, my Auntie Sybil, because my Auntie Sissy not here too good, Sissy Bed, tell your body that to come. So she telling me, Body Bed, look where your daughter come, she call for you. And then me now, must there the graveyard, I call for them, I look one different direction. Then my father go start for say, but look who she come a place, she don't even know where she go. Look who she, you don't go know where you go, girl, you don't go know where you go. And me start to laugh and come out the burying ground. Me say, I was say one other day. And me gone my way. I laugh to myself. Next 2 days or so, me go by my cousin, by my sister Denise. Denise say, girl, you been a burying ground? Me say, you been go look for my father and so. She say, oh. Me say, why you ask? She say, one girl come here and say, Denise, your sister come home? She say, yes. She say, you know, people say, your sister mad, crazy a burying ground. Denise say, look at the girl na mad, the girl do research, the girl a doctor, she not mad. I start to laugh, me never laugh so much. I said, Boxing people are something else. Me mad a burying ground. But I listen now. If me been live a Buxton, and me been there in one house, and I crease myself, you know when I say crease myself, you see house of Buxton, got plenty cracks between the wood, because we got wooden houses, and maybe the putty is not in the right place, and so you can see through the creases. If me been a crease myself and see this girl going at the burying ground, talking to dog, then talking to tomb, then come off of there, go back in the burying ground, and then left one burying ground laughing, one another burying ground laughing, I would have said she's certifiable. Me, I would have said I certifiable. So, when I just go back a village, what I just do? I just go burying ground? What kind of story I know about burying ground? Well, walk good and let me talk the things. Thank you, and don't forget to subscribe to What the Story Say at youtube.com. Also, I have my books on Amazon, What the Story Say, Navel String, and Whispers in Our Ears. I have a new book coming out called Dave and the Lime Tree. It's not yet out, but it's at the Illustrator. Thank you for watching, and walk good.